Welcome to your weekly cosmic weather report. My name is Adeana. I'm an intuitive astrologer. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, I am definitely feeling the full moon in Leo energy. Let me know in the comments below how this has been showing up for you. Also, make sure you check out the lunation video I posted going into all 12 rising signs. And I went over the full moon chart, and I actually went over the new moon chart that we had in Leo back in July of 2025, which I thought was so fascinating. Just how these energies manifest and how the astrology sometimes really just tells a story. It really showed that the last 6 months, we've all been going through this cosmic clearing out these attachments or aspects of our lives that have been holding us back in some way, releasing us of certain fears and self deprecating thoughts, and where we can truly get in our own way, or just any part of us that has been preventing us from truly stepping into that authentic version of self, which now with this full moon in Leo, it's like a completion. It's like this culmination point. And now we step into this dynamic change of 2026, and it all starts this month. So, yeah, make sure you definitely check out the rising sign horoscopes too, because this month we have our first solar eclipse in Aquarius, which is going to initiate us into those cycle of eclipses in Leo and Aquarius. And the full moon we just had in Leo is going to be our last lunation in Leo that is not an eclipse for 2 years. So those areas of life will be going through massive changes, as well as the Uranus Gemini area of our life and the Saturn Neptune Aries area of our life. So yeah, we've never been in so much change happening all at once as we are this year, and it all starts in February. But thank you all so much for joining me. I love connecting with all of you. I hope you all really enjoy my content because I enjoy making it for all of you. This is my passion. This is, my purpose. And I'm just happy to be back and posting for you all. I've only literally been back for 2 weeks, and I've already got like 45 videos, I think, on the page, but or on the channel, and even like TikTok starting to grow. And I do live readings on TikTok too. So if you want to catch me for like a mini live reading, you can go follow me over there on TikTok. The link is it's on my page, so you can check for that, and I'll also link it in the description of this video. But so yeah, coming into the week, we will still have on Monday the moon in Leo. So we'll be just moving through that full moon energy. The moon is going to oppose a Venus and Mercury. And so with the moon being in Leo, the moon ruling our emotions and our instincts and intuition. And Leo is very creative. And Leo is really all about getting back to the heart, right? Operating from your heart space. And I feel like that's where we've all been on this journey to kind of get back to our hearts and away from whatever has pulled us away from that. And so when the moon in Leo forms in opposition to Venus and Mercury in Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius is very good for ideas and thinking outside of the box. Venus in Aquarius is very much about trying new things and freedom and exploring. Um, so this is where there could be like it's almost like a tug of war with your heart passion and then like the racing mind and what your mind is kind of telling you to do, but what you feel you should do. Like, I hope that makes sense. But that could definitely be a thing with this energy. And we only have or we only have the moon in Leo for the first portion of the day on Monday. And then the moon is going to enter Virgo. And then on the third, we have Uranus stationing direct. Um, and we have the moon forming a conjunction to the south node also on Thursday, which is I love when the sun and the moon conjunct the lunar nodes. It's actually a day with this coinciding with the Uranus station. I think the third, which is Tuesday, could be a day where something just clicks and you are either done with something or you're moving away from something, or there is just like a, it could be a breaking point too because of that Uranus energy. But this is just like an energy of, we gotta think Taurus is like material realm, right? Taurus rules like, our, or yes, our personal values, but also like the material realm in a sense. Like, so Uranus, like, the best representation of this is an earthquake, like literally an earthquake, which has happened during Uranus stations. But I want you to think of it as like an earthquake, but in your own world, whether it has to do with like it's some type of breakthrough, an earthquake, and something shattering around your emotions or around your mindset or around a certain part of your life that's been getting in your way, or that you're not aligned with anymore, that you've been, it's something that that's been in your awareness for a while, and this is when it clicks, because we want to remember that Uranus has been retrograde now a few months. So the station and this whole Uranus energy is something that we've been navigating for quite a few months, since middle of last year. And so when we have the Uranus station and the coinciding with the moon conjunct the south, no, this is where I feel like this is literally like just an earthquake of some kind. And think of that as like psychologically, emotionally, um in your world, and then there's like a release of that. So I know sometimes it's hard for me to like get the words out that I'm feeling intuitively, but I hope I've really, um I hope you get what I'm trying to say. And then, and I mean, it's a huge shift. It's like this major shift takes place, and something clicks. And then on the 5th, which is Thursday, we will at this point, well, the moon enters Libra on Thursday. And we have Mercury square Uranus. And so Mercury will still be in Aquarius at this point. Mercury doesn't enter Pisces until the 6th. So Mercury's literally at those end degrees, forming a square to Uranus. And this is where there could be a tension or conflict or something showing up around your mindset, or a hard conversation. It's something that is very sudden, it's out of the blue, it could be shocking. I go over the both Mercury and Venus squares to Uranus, which are this week. I go over those in the rising sign horoscopes, and you'll get a better idea of the areas of life for you, because it's happening in the Aquarius to Taurus area of your chart. Um, but you want to see what house is ruled by Mercury. That's very important when we are interpreting our charts. We always want to use the ruler of the houses, because it just brings more depth and another layer. And so this is where you can hear some sudden news or have a shocking conversation. I'm sure we're going to hear something on the news or something crazy. We always do. And but yeah, there could be, maybe you get a sudden email, maybe you get, it could even show up as like a bill you forgot to pay, or just something that kind of comes in that was unexpected. And then on the 6th, we've got Mercury entering Pisces. And Mercury in Pisces is a mixed bag. I love it, but it can be a bit challenging because Mercury in Pisces has no boundaries. Pisces is that energy of no boundaries, and it's very illusionary. Um, like, actually, a quick little food for thought. If you look at your child's birth chart, if they have Mercury in Pisces, and my daughter has Mercury in Pisces, they tend to be a little bit of like a storyteller when they're children. That's not to say that they're liars when they grow up, no, but they have a very good imagination. And my daughter actually has crazy dreams. She's a very spiritual kid, but she's always had a crazy imagination and dreams. And it's a thing with Mercury and Pisces. And so I love this for creative work. And I love it for if you are somebody that, really focuses on dreams, or, I love it for that. Where it can become difficult is when we are trying to focus, when we're trying to really like hone in on something and become like laser focused to figuring something out. It's not necessarily great for research. You can get distracted. You could get like, you know, but other than that, I love this for creative work. And two, like next week, Mercury on the 11th, Mercury is going to enter pre-shadow because we've got a Mercury retrograde at the end of the month, February. So we also want to keep that in mind too, that Mercury is going to be in Pisces for a couple of months. This is good. This is going to be an energy that we are in for a bit. On the 11th, Mercury is going to enter pre-shadow, which is when Mercury reaches that degree point that Mercury retrogrades back to, and that's when we want to start. And I'll get into this next week. And I also got into this in the horoscopes for the month, but this is when we want to start to pay attention to what's showing up in your world, important conversations, information you're receiving, because whatever's showing up during the pre-shadow period, you tend to be revisiting and reevaluating during the Mercury retrograde. And Mercury will station retrograde on the 25th of February. And Mercury will station retrograde at 22 degrees of Pisces and move back to 8 degrees. So if you have any personal planets or points in Pisces at that around those degree points, then this Mercury retrograde will be working with you personally. But yeah, we'll be talking more about that as we move through the month. But yes, Mercury does enter Pisces on the 6th, which is Friday. And then on the 7th, we have the moon going into Scorpio. And on the 8th, we have Venus squaring Uranus. And so I love the moon in Scorpio for like deep intimacy, like research, whenever you want to get like really deep, whether it's research, whether you are doing some type of like detective work, or the moon in Scorpio could be a time where like you're watching your crime documentaries or Dateline. But it's really, really good for research energy. But this is a time too where you may just become a little bit more um like, I don't even know if I want to say like fixated, but you just become you kind of pay more attention to things. You become a little bit more aware and more and also your emotions too. It's a very intuitive energy, and you're just more emotionally um expressive, if that makes sense. And then when we have Venus forming a square to Uranus on the 8th, again, you want to see what house Venus rules in your birth chart, because this can bring something really sudden. Venus will still be in Aquarius at this time. Um, Uranus is still going to be at a standstill, just stationing direct just a few days prior to that. So it's kind of crazy that we're having these personal planets square Uranus so close to the Uranus station, which shows that, yeah, there is some huge breakthrough taking happening this week when it has to do with our mindset, way of thinking, and our values, self love, self worth. It can also affect us in the areas of money and finances and relationships and one on one connections. But there's some type of major like shift taking place this week on multiple levels. Like when we're talking about our mind and our heart, how we express love and the love that we have for ourselves, our worth. That Leo full moon has brought us back to our hearts for ourselves. Like, so we are owning our crown with confidence and authenticity. That was my kind of big line for this full moon in Leo. Um and I think that plays out this whole week with these shifts too, with the Mercury Venus square to Uranus. So yeah, I mean it can be shocking, it can be disruptive, and we're talking about, yes, information and conversations, but something can just be coming in that just clicks. It's like a breakthrough, and it shifts your mind, it shifts your heart in some way, whether it is even to like something showing up, or maybe you're realizing you've been settling for less in some area of your life. Maybe you're realizing that you've been putting up with too much, that um you no longer are willing to do, and you're starting to just own your authority, own your um authentic self, be who you are, and not letting anyone dim your light anymore. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. um yeah, so That is the energy this week. And then next week, we have Venus entering Pisces, Mercury entering pre shadow. Mercury is going to connect to the North Node, and Saturn is going to enter Aries. So, this is as we move through, also, too, keep in mind we are in eclipse season this entire month. We are past the full moon in Leo, so we are officially in eclipse season now. So we will feel the energy become quite heavy, and we will start to see certain things showing up in our world that are new, because this is the first eclipse initiating us into the set of eclipses in Leo and Aquarius. So, yes, we are still navigating the changes that are taking place in the Virgo Pisces area, but we will start to feel that shift this year from those areas of life, and kind of a completion there, moving into this new area and how that's going to look for us. And we really kind of find that out this month. So you want to pay attention to kind of what's showing up. And it could seem very insignificant, like in the moment, like, but you'll probably realize more so 6 months from now when we enter next eclipse season how important it was, and that, oh, okay, so now I know that's going to be a thing. Because, yeah, whatever shows up now and then shows up 6 months from now, that's going to show you what the next year and a half, 2 years is going to be for you. But all right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I love connecting with all of you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. And I'll connect with you all in the next one.